So let's talk about the assassination attempt against Donald Trump. Not every day you get one of those in America, but it's not the first one either. So I'll just play the video for you, and then we'll go more into detail. All right, this is the moment it actually happened.
If you want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
Moving his hair. Hold. When you're ready. On you. Ready. Move. Up. Move. Go. Up. Hawkeye's here. Hawkeye's here. Get ready. You ready?
Okay, we are watching.
All right, so you heard the shots and everything, and I mean, by the looks of it, it seems to have grazed his ear. All right, and from the sound and you know the blood, I mean, it doesn't look that serious. Obviously, the event is serious, but I mean, talking about medically speaking, I think it was a 22 maybe. It sounded, and just from the damage, it looks like it might have been a 22. Who knows at this point? They're still, you know, they're still coming out with the details right now. But I'll show you the moment they're whisking him off of stage, and you can kind of hear what they're saying. Right? I don't know if all of you have seen that clip. It's all just happening. It's all just happening in the last hour. But here is the footage. All right. They sound a bit confused. These don't look like professionals. I mean, I'm not saying like they're just, their security is crap. It really is crap. Like how many presidents do you need to have shot or assassinated in America? What is it, 7 now? You've had 4 who've been killed and 3 attempts. I mean, anyway. There you go. You see the fist in the air, and when he turns to the side, a bit of blood. Right. So he's medically stable. He's even put out a statement which I'll read to you in a second. But I mean, that image right there is quite powerful. Right. Again, do not misunderstand what I'm trying to do here, because you have a lot of how shall I put this? Arse lickers who are, you know, in full, oh my God, Donald Trump mode. And we're not going to do that here, because this man himself is an assassin. Yes, Donald Trump is a murderer. If you don't know, then how do you know Donald Trump? How can you say that you know him well? But I'll come back to his exploits and his adventures in just a second. I'll read you some of the statements that have been put out. So this is from Trump himself on his Truth Social platform. He said, "I want to thank the United States Secret Service and all of law enforcement for their rapid response on the shooting that just took place in Butler, Pennsylvania. More importantly, I want to extend my condolences to the family of the person at the rally who was killed, and also to the family of another person that was badly injured. It is incredible that such an act can take place in our country. Nothing is known at this time about the shooter, who is now dead. I was shot with a bullet that pierced the upper part of my right ear. I knew immediately that something was wrong, in that I heard a whizzing sound, shots, and immediately felt the bullet ripping through my skin. Much bleeding took place, so I realized then what was happening." So there you go. And there's an interesting interview that someone gave to the BBC. Let's have a listen to what they had to say.
You weren't inside the event, nope, but you were just outside. Tell us what you saw.
So we had a party here all day. You can see behind us at the Brinkles Farming Greenhouse here. We had a party, and we all decided, hey, you know, when we hear Trump up there, we're going to walk up through the field, stand by the trees up there under the shade, and watch and listen to the rally. Right? We couldn't see him, but we could hear him. So we walked up. in probably 5 to 7 minutes of Trump speaking. I'm estimating here, I have no idea, you know, but we noticed a guy crawling, bear crawling up the roof of the building beside us, 50 feet away from us. So we're standing there, and, you know, we're pointing at the guy crawling up the roof.
And he had a gun, right?
He had a rifle. We could clearly see him with a rifle, absolutely. We're pointing at him. The police are down there running around on the ground. We're like, hey, man, there's a guy on the roof with a rifle. And the police were like, huh, what? You know, like they didn't know what was going on. You know, we're like, hey, right here on the roof, we can see him from right here. We see him. You know, he's crawling. And next thing you know, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, why is Trump still speaking? Why have they not pulled him off the stage? I'm standing there pointing at him for, 2 or 3 minutes. Secret Service is looking at us from the top of the barn. I'm pointing at that roof, just standing there like this. And next thing you know, 5 shots ring out.
So that's the most important part of the clip, all right? Listening into what he's saying, just these last 20 seconds.
And rifle. And the police were like, huh, what? You know, like they didn't know what was going on. You know, we're like, hey, right here on the roof, we can see him from right here. We see him. You know, he's crawling. And next thing you know, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, why is Trump still speaking? Why have they not pulled him off the stage? I'm standing there pointing at him for, 2 or 3 minutes. Secret Service is looking at us from the top of the barn. I'm pointing at that roof, just standing there like this. And next thing you know, 5 shots ring out.
So you're certain that the shots came from that guy on the roof?
100%. 100%.
And he was up there for a couple of minutes?
He was up there.
You saw him up there for a couple of minutes?
Absolutely. At least 3 to 4 minutes.
And you were telling the police and the Secret Service?
We were telling the police. We were pointing at them for the Secret Service, who were looking at us from the top of the barn. They were looking at us the whole time when we were standing by that tree.
Could they see
binoculars?
Could they see him?
Probably not, because the roof, the way the slope went, he was behind where they could see. But why is there not Secret Service on all of these roofs here? I mean, this is not a big place.
Did you see, I mean, obviously everyone, when the shooting started, everyone was very panicked.
Okay, so do you understand what he's trying to explain, just to cut the clip short, because it goes on for another 2 minutes? He says that he saw the shooter on the roof. They tried alerting the police, the authorities, the Secret Service, and they didn't do anything. Now, honestly, I don't know what to make of that. I mean, if you're suggesting that there's a conspiracy afoot, then why isn't Donald Trump saying that himself? I think Americans just like to think that they are the best at security. They like to believe that, and they're proven wrong 7 times. 7. You have 4 presidents that have been shot dead. Okay, McKinley, Abraham Lincoln before him, JFK, and then you also have what's his bloody name? The 4th one I'm forgetting. What was it, Garfield or something? Yeah, I think it was Garfield. And then you also have, in addition, Roosevelt, Theodore Roosevelt. They tried to assassinate him. Now you can add Donald Trump to that list of attempted assassinations. And you also have the 3rd one with Reagan, right? You remember there's one clip of Reagan where there's another bang that goes up and he says, "Miss me," which was him. That was not the actual attempt, that was afterwards, but they got him into a car back then. So you have multiple lapses of security going back several centuries in America, and they just like to think that they're the best, and so everything is a conspiracy to them. At the same time, yes, I mean, they have, you can definitely look at what's been happening in the last few months with Democrats and them trying to block Donald Trump from running. Yes, of course, they're trying to use what is known as lawfare. So they did the same thing with Imran Khan in Pakistan, except over there, much more serious, and he's actually in jail, right? So they used a vote of no confidence, got him barred from running, etc. So they have been trying to bar Donald Trump from running, and they have been trying to demonize him, blah, 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 blah. Yes, fine, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they sat. I think that if they wanted to kill him, they would have found someone who can do it. So in any case, it's too early to tell. But if that's what this guy's suggesting, I mean, he didn't go ahead and say it. He just said, from what I can understand, he's just saying that they're incompetent. They couldn't see the guy, and they didn't take the warning seriously. All right. So in addition to that, I'll show you some clips here this is just a doctor saying that he saved someone's life. Again, you have to understand, Trump wasn't the only person injured or shot. In addition to Trump, the shooter was shot and killed, okay? Or rather, let me rephrase that. In addition to Trump being hit, there are two people who were also shot, and only one of them was killed. It's the Secret Service who killed the shooter, and then we also have an attendee who was injured. Listen to the doctor himself tell the story.
Over there was screaming, he's been shot, he's been shot. So I made my way over. I said, I'm an emergency department physician. Let me help you. The guy had spun around, was jammed between the benches. He had a headshot here. There was lots of blood, and he had brain matter there. Oh, no. And so I got him. There's a helicopter coming in to get him. I got people there really helpful. I got him up on the bench. Shot that you saw? Then I did CPR, did chest compressions as well as I breathed for him.
One person.
I was the only one that did it.
We need to evacuate everybody. Honor, that's exactly.
Okay, so again, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, Donald Trump is kind of weird that he takes issue with the whole thing. What do I mean by that? I mean, he himself, he's ordered assassinations, and he publicly brags about it, right? So when I see messages like this from Biden and Bill Clinton, I mean, I find it kind of funny, right? Because they all use the same phrase here. They say there's no place for this kind of violence in America. Okay, notice this sentence. You see all over the place right now. All right, this is from Biden, Bill Clinton, and saying he's heartbroken over it. I mean, every single, even Keir Starmer in the UK issued a similar statement. You're seeing this from everyone. Bernie Sanders as well. Bernie Sanders also put out a statement. So it's like, it's incredible how much affection they have for him, right? It's incredible because they keep saying how dangerous he is and he's so Hitler-esque. And then when he's injured during an assassination attempt, they seem to be concerned. Now, I mean, you can take it two ways. You can either think they're being completely serious, which you know is one thing, or that they're being backhanded in their comments. Now, I just find it funny because they like to demonize each other, but when it comes down to it, this sentence right here about political violence in America is a joke. What does this mean, that there is no place for this kind of violence in America? Explain that sentence to me. Why is there no place for this kind of violence in America? I just told you have 7 US presidents, former and sitting, okay, who were so 4 of them were killed and 3 were implicated in attempted assassinations. You have more bombs that are exported from America than any country in the world. You have more assassinations and coups that are exported from America than anywhere in the world. How is it that there's no place for this kind of violence in America? What does that mean? That's nonsense. America is the place for violence. It is. This stuff that happened to Trump says a lot about the society, American society. It's a sick, evil society because it's just purely set on violence. You know, everybody can have a gun. Everybody can shoot at each other. You can go and buy a gun and shoot the president today. You know, it's just like an obscene spaghetti western. That's the only way I can describe it. And it's to the point that it spills out from the country. It's exported around the world. So when you say that there's no place for this kind of violence in American society, I think that's a joke. I think that's ridiculous. And when Donald Trump and his supporters are offended by Donald Trump almost being assassinated, I also find that hypocritical and funny because they had no problem with Donald Trump assassinating other people. They encouraged and celebrated this. Do you know who these 2 gentlemen are? General Soleimani, Abu Mahdi al-Muhandis. Donald Trump murdered them. He assassinated them and bragged about it. And he not only killed them, he killed them and their entourage, so it's about 8 people in total. And he killed them while they were carrying diplomatic passports. So he not only assassinated them, he assassinated diplomats. So that's a violation of the Vienna Convention as well. And he did that while they were in Iraq, at the invitation of the Iraqi Prime Minister. And then he uses the AUMF of 2002. So he even, like, he plays with American law, right? That was for the invasion of Iraq, which, I mean, it's still illegal. But even by American standards, inside of the United States, he plays games to find justification for murder, for assassination. He uses some ridiculous military order for you know, an authorization for use of military force by Congress to justify assassinating people. All right? So I don't understand. I don't understand. And then he said he wanted to kill the president of Syria, right? So this is documented in many books. There's Trump admitting it on camera. He said he wanted to kill Julian Assange as well. Look.
He's going to talk about WikiLeaks. You had nothing to do with the leaking of those documents. It's disgraceful. You do think it's disgraceful?
I think there should be like death penalty or something.
We're also he's going to talk about WikiLeaks.
You heard that?
You had nothing to do with the leaking of those documents.
I think it's disgraceful.
You do think it's disgraceful?
I think there should be like death penalty or something.
I think he should be given the death penalty. And then, of course, we all know Donald Trump put Julian Assange in prison. Now, if you don't think that's slowly killing someone, I mean, I'm not even going to get into that because of how ridiculous it is. We saw the guy have a mini stroke in court. So, yeah, they were killing him. And Donald Trump started that with Mike Pompeo. So, you know, this is you could call it karma in a way. You could call it karma. But I suppose karma would be a drone strike. That would be karma for Donald Trump, is if a drone would have hit him while he was traveling somewhere. That would be karma, because this was nothing. Here, I'll read you this from Colin, from Habibi, who says, these politicians are now saying there's no room for political violence. When Trump is nearly assassinated, should take several seats, several seats, considering the political violence. You are all complicit in foreign nations right now, and you all don't give a damn about that. It's from Caitlin Johnstone. The Western political media class hasn't been this sympathetic and supportive toward Trump since he bombed Damascus. I agree. How funny, right? How funny. There's another one she put here. She said that was a close one. America almost had 2 presidential candidates with no brain. A lot of hypocrisy going around, man. A lot of hypocrisy. So, you know, it's difficult to feel sorry for someone like Trump. It's very, very difficult. He's a killer. You understand? He's a killer. He's a murderer. And I haven't even mentioned the children, the civilians that he's killed when he kept all of the wars going that he was handed over by Obama. Every single one. Every single one. The sanctions, he even added to the sanctions, which is siege warfare. Forget about that. I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about political assassinations. Murdering a head of state or a foreign leader. And I mean, to be honest, he almost started World War III with this, you know? The only reason you didn't have World War III is because the Iranians didn't fall for the bait. That's the only reason. People think Trump didn't start any new wars. Fuck off. Fuck right off. If someone assassinates the Minister of Defense, the UK or the US would declare a war. Okay? The only reason the Iranians didn't do it is it's not stupid and violent. That's the only reason why. So he almost started World War III with that, and they didn't fall for it. But he is just as much a killer. All right? Make no mistake about it. Make no mistake. I'll show you something that made me laugh, because I think this one is definitely backhanded. This is from Maduro. Guess what? I don't know if Trump tried to assassinate Maduro, but he certainly tried to send a bunch of armed goons to you know, coup him, to oust and depose him. So listen to what Maduro had to say. You can't. There are no subtitles, but the text is. You can read the text up here. All right.
Cuando iba saliendo de Guanare, recibimos una noticia que en los Estados Unidos de Norteamérica hubo un atentado contra el expresidente y candidato presidencial Donald Trump. Quiero, a nombre de Venezuela entera, de nuestro pueblo, rechazar y repudiar el atentado contra el expresidente Donald Trump, desearle su pronta recuperación y que Dios bendiga al pueblo de los Estados Unidos y le dé la paz y le dé la tranquilidad. Hemos sido adversarios, pero le deseo al presidente Trump salud y larga vida.
That one's backhanded. That one's backhanded. No question about it. No question about it. That one's backhanded. It's classy, though. I gotta admit, it's classy. Listen to the next sentence, right? He goes all the way.
Y repudio ese atentado Yo también fui víctima de un atentado y de 100 intentos de matarme. Pero siempre Dios puso su mano y aquí estamos, sanos, vivos y victoriosos.
Maybe I'm misreading. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. But I just wanted to laugh because it's so, yeah, maybe he's just being the bigger man, right? But it is classy, huh? Either way, it's very classy. I mean, I'll just remind you, because a lot of people are upset with CNN, all right? You see a lot of Trump supporters are upset with CNN because CNN downplayed the assassination. A lot of media downplayed it. You know, they wrote things like, for example, well, that Trump had fell. There was an interruption at the rally, and yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, the guy got shot at in the head. Like, you know, that he didn't. Yes, you could say he fell because he was shot at in the head. He was shot at in the head. It's an assassination. So I find it funny because just a few hours ago, the same exact media outlets like CNN were doing the same thing with Palestinians, right? So instead of saying 70 Palestinians killed or 100 Palestinians were killed in Al Mawasi refugee camp, it's over 100 by now, and also in Shati up north. So instead of saying that, they were saying Israel targets Hamas commander. There was no commander there. Okay, so just a few hours ago, CNN were downplaying a massacre of Palestinians, which was done with American bombs. These are JDAM bombs. They're all produced by the Americans and exported by the Americans. Okay, and then Israel drops those bombs with political and diplomatic cover from the Americans. So you might as well say America dropped the bombs. Okay, these people don't care. Where are all these Trump supporters to call out CNN downplaying the murder of Palestinians? Where are they? They're nowhere to be found. They fucked off and evaporated into thin air. And then they want everybody to, you know, drop on their knees and start worshipping Donald Trump because someone fired a .22 at his ear. Fuck Donald Trump. Donald Trump can eat shit. The guy is a killer in a suit. I don't give a shit what clothes he wears or what title he gives himself. The guy is a murderer. He's bragged about murdering foreign leaders or trying to murder them, right? And he has actually ordered drone strikes. That is murder. It's illegal even inside of the United States, in case you don't give a shit about international law. I mean, just drone strikes. Donald Trump, in the first year he was president, increased drone strikes by 432%. 432%. Those are targeted assassinations. The guy is a killer. You want people to feel sympathy for you when you're shot. Don't kill people. You know, I mean, don't murder civilians. It's not about just killing people. It's civilians on top of it. It's not like he was in his house and someone broke in his house. The guy is ordering murder at the highest level of state. Okay, it's criminality of the highest order at the highest level. So. And again, the Americans, you know, this sentence they keep saying, look at Bernie Sanders, for example, saying, oh, violence has no place in our society. You're the most violent society on earth. America is the most violent place on the planet. The Americans shoot each other. I mean, from the start of the country, they wiped out millions of natives, stole their land. Then they started shooting the Spanish. Then they start shooting British. Then they start shooting French. Then they take their land as well. Then they start launching coups and assassinations and regime change in Central Latin America. Then they start bombing the Middle East. Then they start bombing Vietnam. Jesus Christ, there's never been a more violent fucking country than America. What do you mean violence has no place in your society? You are the quintessential example of a violent society. That's all I have to say about it. Again, YouTube demonetized my channel because I'm not allowed to say naughty things about Israel. You know, telling the truth is forbidden. So if you are able to donate a few dollars on PayPal or on a monthly basis on Patreon, please consider doing it because it would really help me continue my journalism and support independent media. So I'd be very grateful. And the links are in the description and also in the chat. Thank you guys very much again for all your donations and all your kind comments. I appreciate it very much.